Welcome to episode number 3 of Trash to Cash, where we take auction vehicles with issues and show you the process of getting them ready to sell. The process of taking an auction car from auction status to ready to sell is not really shown by dealers, so hopefully this kind of shows you the back end of what dealerships do. Before we get into it, if you haven't already smashed that subscribe button, please do so. Make sure you click the bell icon as well to be notified whenever I upload new videos. The vehicle we're working on in this episode is a 2009 Toyota Camry. Looks great on the outside. Doesn't really have too many issues on the exterior except for it needing to be cleaned pretty badly. Toyota Camrys are extremely reliable vehicles. They're my second best sellers at my dealership. And while it looks okay on the outside, it needs a detail on the inside. But overall, not a bad car. We did drive it here. I do know that it is extremely reliable, and it ran and drove great. So getting into it here, I did notice two things when we first purchased this vehicle. The first one being the steering wheel foam is peeled off. It's just fucked up in general, and I don't know of a way to fix this other than replacing the whole steering wheel, so that's what we're gonna do. The second thing I noticed is this dashboard is sticky and it's really shiny, so I'm going to attempt to clean this sticky dashboard, and if I can't get rid of the sticky, I'm just going to cover it with kind of like a carpet material or dashboard cover, and that should do it. So I want to fire it up, see if it's got any mechanical issues, oil leaking, spark plugs, anything like that that we should know about before we get into the inside of the car. Got to make sure it's reliable for the customer that decides to purchase this one. So let's grab the keys. Got the keys. So let's attempt to fire it up. It's dead. We need to jump it. And we've got power. Let's fire it up. So right off the rip, I can tell you we have a battery light that could indicate one of two things. Either the battery is completely shot or the alternator is starting to go out. Let's shut it off, take a look under the hood. So looking under this hood, there's nothing really too major that I'm seeing. I see that the alternator has been replaced, so we might just have to test that. I see a valve cover gasket leak, which is not major, but it's there. That needs to be fixed. On the battery, I see some corrosion, so we'll have to clean that up if we get a new battery. This battery is holding a charge. Yeah, this battery is holding a charge, so I'm pretty sure this corrosion is the problem, or these battery terminals might be an issue. So far, everything we've got to do to this vehicle is replace the steering wheel, clean and cover the dash, the detail from head to toe on this thing, clean off the corrosion off the battery, valve cover gasket, and if I do valve cover gasket, might as well do spark plugs. All right, I've gone to my local junkyard and picked up a steering wheel. It is dirty. That can be cleaned. It's definitely in better condition than the one that's already in it. It did come with the airbag, which I think I might just blow up. I did also pick up a dashboard cover off of Amazon. I will link it in the description below. And thanks to our buddies over at O'Reilly Auto Parts for providing us with the valve cover gasket and some spark plugs for super cheap. With the battery light being on in here, I want to see if this car has any codes stored in the computer. So let's grab the OBD reader. Okay, we have no codes present, no history codes, and no pending codes. So I'm unsure why that battery light's on. I'm gonna take the battery out. Got the positive cable off. Got the battery out of the car. I have had a jump box on it for quite a while because the battery does hold a charge. So let's take it off. Let's clean this battery up. As you can see, there is quite a bit of corrosion. It's a very dirty battery. All right, let's grab some stuff to clean it with. All right, we've got our little cleaning cloth, wire brush, terminal cleaner, and because I'm a mechanic, we use brake parts cleaner for everything. Well, that looks a lot better than it did before. Both terminals are now clean. No more corrosion on this battery. This is good. One thing I noticed when taking this battery off is this terminal is fucked. Trying to back this nut off, this whole thing was spinning. So this needs to be replaced. We need a new terminal. Perfect. Got my 11mm, got my new terminal. That's the bad one. Got a new one. Let's clean this up. I got the new terminal installed. That's the old shitty looking terminal. The ground wire looks fine. It just needs to be cleaned off, which I will do before putting the battery back in. Before I put the battery back into this car, I want to go ahead and do the valve cover gasket because we're already under the hood with tools. And I want to go ahead and do the steering wheel replacement because it deals with an airbag. And we have to have the battery disconnected for that anyways. Let's do the valve cover gasket first. While I'm down here doing the valve cover gasket, I'm gonna do the spark plugs as well, because we gotta take these coils off anyways, so might as well. We got all these lines off. All we gotta do now, make sure we don't lose this harness. Take off every bolt holding the valve cover gasket down. There we go. There we go. Got it. This is the bottom of the valve cover. You can see the gasket isn't exactly old. It looks like it's just been replaced. But I'm assuming the person who replaced it did it incorrectly, because it was leaking all down the back there, leaking over here and over here. So I'm assuming they didn't clean the surface before they put the new gasket on. You can see kind of where it was leaking. It was leaking there. It's leaking there. So I'm gonna replace it again, and I'll do it correctly. I'll make sure it has no leaks this time. Now that I got the valve cover off, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the valve cover gasket and the spark plugs. Perfect. All right, so I got the outside cleaned up as much as I possibly could. Let's put this gasket in where it's supposed to go. New gasket's in. I did clean the surface down here, so we're good. Put the two nuts back on first. Start putting bolts back in. All right, so we got the new valve cover gasket on. I did clean up the valve cover as much as I possibly could, but The new little blue valve cover gasket is in there. I do want to replace the spark plugs too. Got my spark plugs, V-Power NGKs. Got my ratchet, 16 millimeter. Let's get the old plugs out. Valve cover gasket spark plugs are done. These are the old spark plugs. You can see they're all black and covered in oil. Yeet. Now that I've got the battery cleaned up, the terminal replaced, the valve cover gasket replaced, and the spark plugs brand new, it's time to work on the steering wheel. And for that, I have a steering wheel. Unfortunately, the way it was sent to me still has all this on it. So we need to remove the steering wheel off of this. I also need to clean the steering wheel up. Shouldn't be too hard. Let's do it. Well, that was easy. All it took was taking these two covers off, unplugging the airbag, which is now sitting there, and taking this little nut off the center. But now we need a steering wheel removal tool. Hey, I got a steering wheel I'm trying to take off. I need a steering wheel removal tool. Okay, can you send it down, please? All right, so O'Reilly's is leaving now. They just delivered the steering wheel removal kit. This. There, here we go. There it goes. There it is. I got the steering wheel out, so we're good. Now we just got to clean this thing up and put it in the other car. So we're going to see if this thing will clean up. Got a wet rag. It does clean up. This is going to take a minute though. That looks a lot better. So we're back in the car. Yeah, the steering wheel's fucked up, so let's replace it. Got the old steering wheel out. All right, got the new steering wheel. Gotta line it up and put it in correctly. Awesome. Old steering wheel, new steering wheel. Looks great. So I've got the new steering wheel in the car, got the airbag back in with no issues, thank God. Now it's time to put this in the car. This is the dashboard cover. I'll post a link to this product in the description of this video below. I did try cleaning the dashboard, all the sticky stuff off of it, and it's not coming off. So I'm gonna put this cover on there and we'll see what happens. There we go. That looks a lot better, and it should help the dash kind of cool down a little bit. Once this cover, I know it looks kind of crumbled a little bit. That's from it being folded. Once it sits out under the sun for a little bit, it'll flatten out and relax, and when it relaxes, it'll look way better. It's time to put the battery back in. Now that I've got everything done, I want to fire it up and make sure we're good. There we go. So with the car running just fine, we still have a battery light. So I came up under here under the hood, and I'm looking at all the connections and everything is tight. The alternator's already been replaced by someone else, not me. This is good, that's tight. I was like, all right, let me look in the fuse box. And look, there's supposed to be a 7.5 amp fuse in the alternator spot. But when you look, it's not there. It's supposed to be right there. But there's a fuse here for Mayday telephone. There isn't supposed to be one in there. So I'm gonna take it out and I'm gonna put it where it's supposed to go. Or where I'm pretty sure it's supposed to go. Push it in. Let's see if the alternator light's still on. Is it? Nope, it's off. That was the issue. That was the problem. Now it just needs a detail.